How's everybody doing, man? Yeah, that's called Josie. That's a good jam, man. Larry Carlton did that one, man. Yeah, it's tricky one, man. It's like the chords are what's really it's really yeah, it's a kicking song though. I like it, man. how's everybody doing, man? Yeah, that's not my main channel. I like to promote that one, so I'm trying to get that beatnik stuff going strong. And this one too. Hey, how's everybody doing, man? Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for checking me out, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Oh wow. Good stuff, man. Hey, how's everybody doing, man? Good to see everybody. Yeah, man. Thanks for watching, man, guys. Hey, how's everybody doing, man? Yeah, that's some good. That's some good. That's a good tune, man. I'd rather have a singer though when I do that one, man. That's a good one though. Oh yeah. I'll play some jams. Let's see here. Hey, good to see everybody, man. Now it's this guitar was made in 1975. It's 50 years old. It's had a fret job. It is really a Gibson guitar, as you can see. It's really a Gibson, but it's had a fret job. The professional frets ain't on it. It had a. Uh, I wore down four of the frets when I was a teenager because I was a wild rock guitar player. In the 80s, I had a fret job done on it, which I wasn't satisfied with because you didn't put the professional frets on there. The cheaper frets are on it, unfortunately. I've had the guitar so long that this pickup has actually is sunk down into the guitar, and this pickup's okay right here still, but I need to get it refurbished. It still sounds pretty good, but it would sound so much better with the professional frets on there, and if I got it refurbished, I want to put humbucker pickups on it and stuff, and get it repainted, same color, tobacco sunburst. I don't want to get rid of the guitar because this guitar has sentimental value to me because my mother got me this guitar and I loved my mother dearly. Uh, she got me this guitar when I was only 14 years old. So if it hadn't been for mom, I would have never got this guitar. So uh, unfortunately, my mother passed away. I miss her like crazy. It's been a few years, but it's always like yesterday. It's just like every day. Just I miss my mother every day because I thought so much of her. You know how it goes, man. You lose somebody like that you love. Yeah, it's really tough. But yeah, this guitar has sentimental value to me, and I want to get it refurbished, and I want to get a brand new frets put on it and stuff like that, man. It is, man, but I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it all refinished and stuff because I'm gonna keep it. I never plan on selling it. I will never sell this because my mother bought me this guitar, and it means so much to me, man. So I just want to get it like new again, and get the to send it to the Gibson company and get them to do it. It's gonna set me back a little bit of money, but it's gonna be worth it, man. It'll I'm saving for it right now. When I get enough money, I'm gonna go ahead and do that because this guitar means so much to me, man. Yeah, it's I'm surprised that I even have the guitar because I was irresponsible as a teenager, and I was a hippie kid, and I'm surprised that it didn't get stolen or destroyed even, because of the way I was. I was kind of a reckless teenager, and I had the real long hair. I had hair like down to here. When I was a teenager, I had real long hair. Sometimes I kept it back in a ponytail, and I was a hippie kid, real skinny. Was not a big dude. I was like a real small. I was like a 5'8", but real skinny. I was always real skinny, easy going. Laid back. Did a lot of partying though. Way too much partying. Didn't have an education, but my girlfriends always got girlfriends that were very highly educated. Wouldn't even drink a beer. But me, I was like, I would drink. I'd smoke pot. I would do everything. It was funny. But yeah, I was a reckless teenager. But me and this guitar have been through so much together, man. It's like it just means so much to me, man. I could never sell it. I could never get rid of it, man. I've been just about broke and tempted to pawn it, but I never would because I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get rid of this guitar, you know. This is the one thing that my mother bought for me, and it's just something that I just don't want to ever lose, you know. You know what I'm saying? When somebody like that you think very highly of buys you something or does something for you, you don't want to get rid of it. So, oh man, I appreciate everybody for showing up, man, for checking me out today, man. I've been really. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it is a pretty guitar, man. Yeah, thanks, Steam. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, it means a lot to me, man. Uh, how I got into jazz is kind of funny. Actually, I didn't start really learning jazz really until the '80s. I was in my 20s, but I played. I was a hell of a rock guitar player in the 1970s, so I had a stroke. You know, I played prog rock too. I played a lot of everything. You know, but then I had a stroke and I had to relearn how to play the guitar. But I liked it. I remember my cousin Dan Coldwell would go to New York, and he had this reel-to-reel tape recorder, and he would record these beatnik jazz bands. And I was a little kid, and he would play that stuff for me, and I loved it, man. I thought it was great. And a lot of those guys, man, they were doing that stuff before I was even born, you know. But I just love the music. I don't never look at era. I look at if the music's good or not. Even with rock, man. Uh, Rock was kick ass in the '70s, and then it got pretty damn good in the '90s too, man. I like the '90s grunge sound that came out of Washington. Man, Washington produced a lot of really good musicians during the 1990s. Man, it was surprising, man. They had really good musicians, man. I think Pearl Jam was from there, STP, Nirvana, all these bands, man. They came from Washington State, man. I was like, yeah, that was cool, man. The grunge movement was really good. I was like, that was really creative. Yeah. I'd like to see something like that spawn now. Some young people come up with something new, man. Again, you know, we had we've had um, the classic rock course in the '70s was a combination of metal and regular hard rock and stuff like that. And then we had, you know, the '80s was okay. The '90s was great. And then I would like to see some kids come out with something really different now. You know, we've been through, and the rock's been through, you know, the grunge and the classic rock, the punk rock. I liked some punk rock was pretty cool, man. Actually, you know. So I don't know, man. I listen to everything, man. I like jazz. I like rock. I like blues. I like everything, man. And era doesn't matter. Age doesn't matter. Uh, a lot of new bands. Yeah, they don't get the recognition. It's harder now to get because people, man, it was like ruined by idiots, man. The music industry was ruined by idiots, man. It's not fair, man, because you know when I was growing up in the 1970s, if you were good, I almost got recognized, but I had a stroke. I came that close to making it big, man. I almost made it big, and then I had a stroke, and it ruined that. But if you were a good musician, man, you would get pretty much a lot of recognition and make money. But nowadays, it's not so easy anymore, man. One of the things that really did away with bands making it big was the albums, man. Because bands, when I was growing up, that's where they made their big money, man, off the albums. They didn't make their big money off the concerts, the big name bands. They made their big money off the albums. A lot of times they would, when they threw concerts, they would charge very little to get in, and a lot of times they would let people in for free, man, because they were just trying to promote, you know, so that people would buy their album. You know, Led Zeppelin, man, Led Zeppelin made their money off of album sales, really. and Black Sabbath and all these big name bands, they where they made their money was album sales, and you don't have that no more. You don't have the albums, man. That sucks for the kids, man, that are trying to make it now, man. Because you come up with a really kick ass album, and you sell millions of albums, you're gonna be a millionaire. You know what I mean? But now you can't. They did away with all that because people are greedy and they don't want people to do that anymore. I guess I don't know. Yeah, I can play Leonard Skinner. I can play pretty much everything by Leonard Skinner. I'll do it sometime when I do a rock session. I was pretty much doing a jazz section. I don't like to mix rock too much with jazz, man. It don't kind of like ruins the mood because everybody's in the mood for jazz, and then I start playing rock, and they're like, "What?" You know. So like, but if I start out with rock and I start playing rock all through the video, then people are like really responsive to it. You know. Swamp music, yeah, swamp music is good, man. I like it. I like the Southern rock a lot, man. Leonard Skinner was one of my favorite bands, man. They were really good, you know. I liked Leonard Skinner, Molly Hatchet, even Charlie Daniels, man, has some good music, man. I like Charlie Daniels. So it was like the Allman Brothers, all that. I dug the Southern rock a lot. I thought it was pretty cool. It was part of the classic rock movement, you know. The classic rock movement had everything in it, man. Rock, jazz, blues, country, a little bit of country, you know, everything, man. You know, it was just phenomenal. 1970s was just phenomenal because that's what they did. They would play everything, man. You got bands that would play it, put a little bit of everything in there, man. You know, so that was cool, man. Oh, are they? They're gonna come to Germany? Oh, Leonard Skinner, yeah, like some of them are still alive. Yeah, they're great, dude. They're still great. I like them. You know, of course, nobody can replace Ronnie Van Zant. I mean, Ronnie Van Zant was one of a kind, man. You're not gonna ever find another Ronnie Van Zant again. But you know, that guy was great, man. You know, we'll never see that again, man. It's just certain rock stars just have a certain thing about them, man. They're just charismatic. They're singing and all that, you know. And Ronnie was one of them. Um, a lot of great guitar players can't sing that good, you know, but they think they can. But or they can hit high notes. Some of them can hit high notes, but I don't like their style. Like Eric Johnson, I think he's a fantastic guitar player, but I don't like his singing at all. I didn't like Larry Carlton singing, you know. Um, but he quit singing. He quit. Yeah, but unfortunately, Larry got shot in the throat. I didn't want to get shot in the throat, but wow, I wasn't crazy about his singing. I loved his guitar playing though. But now you take Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan could sing, man. He had a charismatic sound in his voice that was just kick ass, man. You know what I'm saying? So Stevie Ray could sing. He could actually do, but he was lucky, man. Stevie Ray was lucky because he had two talents there. He had the talent of playing the guitar and also the talent of being able to sing and sound charismatic and you know fit what he was doing, which is hard to do. That's very hard to do. Um, usually usually I get a guitar player that can't do both sing and play guitar, you know. But Joe Walsh was Joe Walsh was able to do that too. He was a very good singer along with his guitar playing. So you know, some guys could do it, but Jimmy Page couldn't sing. He was gonna. Jimmy Page was thinking about trying to sing for Led Zeppelin, and he tried. He like listened to himself, and he was honest with himself, and he said, "No, I can't sing good enough for," you know. And then he got Robert Plant. He auditioned a couple of people, and then he got Robert Plant, and he decided that he didn't want to sing because he wasn't good enough. You know, he didn't have that. It's like a certain charismatic style that somebody has to have when they sing. You know, to be able to do that. You know, get a lot into metal, and yeah, I like metal. I like Metallica. I liked Dimebag Darrell a lot, man. They were great. You know, yeah. So yeah, there was a lot of good metal bands, man. I dig it. I dig it. If it's good, man, I like it. But if it's not, if it sucks, I don't. Who's gonna like something that sucks, man? But yeah, there was a lot of good. I like a lot of metal. Yeah. So it's not my main kind of music, but I like it. I can listen to it at times. I got to be in the mood for it though. It's like sometimes I'm in the mood for classic rock sound. Sometimes I want jazz. Sometimes I want blues. You know what I mean? Sometimes a little rap. I like some rap. I'm not really crazy about it, but there's some of it I like. I think it's pretty cool. You know. So, but I got to be in the mood. You know what I'm saying? Music's mood. It's all moody with me, man. Shut up. Shh. Shh. Yeah. My dog's wanting to go out. Hey, New Zealand. Hey, cool, man. Thanks for checking me out. Shh, shh. Hey, quiet. Oh, he's going crazy. But anyway, I always wanted to go there. I always wanted to go to New Zealand. Check it out, man. I bet it's nice there. I'd like to visit there. Just to see what it's like there. Everybody's cool. I always wanted to go to New Zealand, Ireland. I don't know, man. Different places. I always want Spain. I'd like to visit Spain, Germany. My son lived in Germany. He loved it, man. When he first went in the army, he went in the army like nearly 2 years before the war broke out. My son's older, he fought in Iraq and stuff. But he went in the army before the war broke out. He didn't know there was going to be a war. He said he would have never went in if he didn't known there was going to be a war later on, because he didn't like it. He didn't like going to war. But he said he lived in Friedberg, Germany. He said he loved it there. He said it was beautiful, man. Yeah. So I always wanted to go to Germany. I'd like to check it out. I'd like to, Germany, France, Spain, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia. Just to visit those countries, I would love to do that. It'd be great. Good morning. How are you? How are you, Drum? Thanks for coming and checking me out. Yeah, I gotta get off here pretty soon. I gotta get my dog. I gotta let my dog out. He's going crazy. He's he's gotta go to the bathroom and stuff. Peace, man. Peace. Yeah, it's good seeing everybody, though, man. I really appreciate you coming and checking me out. Makes me feel good. Yeah, yeah. I gotta let him out. I gotta let Buddy out. He's driving me crazy. But anyway, guys, if you get a chance, come to my channel and check out what I got on my playlist. I'm kind of really into beatnik jazz a lot. I've been doing it the last few years, and I really dig it a lot, man. It was a good movement, and unfortunately, it died out, man. I couldn't believe it died out. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it, Drum. I appreciate that. Yeah. Unfortunately, the beatnik movement died out, but that was like a rock movement before. The beatnik movement was before the classic rock movement, and it was actually educated people that started the beatnik jazz movement. But they were hippies. They were kind of like hippies, They partied, they smoked. You know what I mean? They partied. Those guys did, and they had a different type of language than the hippies. They would say like out of sight, crazy, groovy. Groovy was a big word among the beatniks, And sometimes it was like cool cat daddy, old chick man, stuff like that. Talk like that. I like that stuff, man. I thought that was pretty cool. And they didn't grow the long hair, but they grow the long sideburns and a beard. And then later on, they started growing the hair, And then it kind of. I think hippies came from them because then later on they started getting longer hair and stuff, and then the hippie movement came in and stuff. But it was actually the beatnik movement before the hippies. And that was before I was born. I started in the 1940s, and the Zodiac Club was a big famous place in California where they would play the Zodiac Club, and Greenwich Village, New York, and places like that. The beatniks were because my cousin he would go to. That's where he went. He would go to Greenwich Village, New York, and record the beatnik bands and stuff. and he let me listen to that when I was a kid. I can still remember it like it was yesterday, man. And I just loved it. I ate it up, man. It was like just cool jazz, man. Just like jamming the jazz, and they get up and dance and stuff and party and stuff like that. Uh, Jack Kerouac, Jack Kerouac or something like that. He's really good. I like him. He's from he does the prose. What he would do, what Jack would do is he would hire these real good jazz bands to back him up, and he would do beatnik prose. And it was kind of like rap. It was like a beatnik rap, man. I like that Jack Kerouac. I think I'm saying his name right. I like that. When I heard him, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. He would hire bands like that to back him up, and he would do that beatnik prose. He was very popular among the beatnik uh, movement and stuff. And I like that music. And it's funny, man, how you can like something that was even before you were born. So era doesn't matter, if it's I just look for good music. I don't care about when it was created. It's amazing that a lot of that music was passed up, man. That it didn't, excel into the future and become big, really big, like rock did. Uh, but everybody still, everybody I talk to still loves the classic rock movement: Heart, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, Deep Purple, Aerosmith, UFO, Styx. Oh man, you're right. There's so many of them, man, that I taught. Everybody, these younger people, they'll ask me if I like those bands, and I'm like, I'm just amazed that those bands, just just carried on into the future like that. You know what I mean? Just because it was good music, man. And that's the way I felt about beatnik. Beatnik music was really good music, man. And I'm surprised that that it died out. It died out, and rock kind of took it over. But I'm glad for the rock movement though, because I love rock music a lot. I think it's awesome. Fleetwood Mac, that was a really good band. I'm talking about bands that really, really, really wrote good tunes that you could set and you could just listen to and just fall in love with the music. There's music made in the medieval days that we still hear. That's the ultimate proof that music is the people cultural heritage. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right, man. I mean, I could listen to Bach all day. I love that stuff, that Bach and stuff like that. You're right. You're right about that. So era doesn't matter. What matters if it's good or not. But fortunately, they experimented in the '70s and they came up. That's where the rock movement hit big in the late '60s and '70s. I'm talking about progressive rock and hard rock and like the type of rock that's really cool, man. That's rock got really good in the 1970s, man. It was like a movement to see. It was, I don't know, man. It was so creative. Well, you had to be creative to make it back then because it was like it was a challenge to see if you could be creative enough to make a lot of money. Chime. Oh, yeah. I'm not on it. But hey, man, I appreciate everybody showing up, man, for my guitar sessions. It really helps me out. To it makes me feel good to know that people are digging my music, man. I'm always trying to create more, learn new things. Even now, I mean, music is like non-ending learning. You can always learn stuff, and you can always create new stuff. I'm trying to create a new sound. Of course, I learn songs too, but I'm trying to create my own sound too. Create. I've written a lot of stuff, beatnik stuff, and that's what I did when I was writing my music. Is trying to bring back the beatnik movement and get everybody kind of grooving on that because that's even the lingo. I like the lingo too, man. The cool cat daddy old chick man groovy, out of sight. I like that, man. And then in the '70s, people would say they replaced out of sight with far out. Everybody says cool. They completely quit saying groovy, you know. Groovy kind of went out of style in the 1960s. I was growing up in the 60s, and they said it a little while. I remember when I was a little bitty small boy, people would sometimes say groovy, but they quit saying it in the 70s. They didn't say that no more in the 70s. They would say stuff like far out, cool, I'm hip, stuff like that. That's when they started talking like that. But I like that beatnik lingo a lot, man. It's really cool. When you write music, well, you have to experiment. Um, and then you have to be honest with yourself. Because I was writing music there for a while, and then I got to listen to it, and I'm like, that sucks. Really? I said it, I was like, I was honest with myself. So I threw it away, and I started from scratch, and I started over again, and I just kept experimenting until I found something that was kind of my niche. And that's beatnik jazz. Modern beatnik jazz is kind of my niche, man. My music that I write in that really works. It's really cool. But you have to be honest with yourself. Don't try to push something that sucks. Don't lie to yourself, just because you wrote it. That's the kind of trick that your mind plays with you. Think because you wrote it, it's got to be good. And I would just be honest with myself and say, if I wrote something that sounded that I didn't think sounded good, I would just be honest with myself and say, oh, that sucks. I got to start over. And I just crumble it up and throw it away and start from scratch and start writing down chords and find a sound that I thought was really good, and just play it in front of people, play stuff in front of people that I thought was really good and see what they thought. And most of the time it worked, but sometimes they would be like kind of looking at me funny, so I quit playing. So I'd like transition right into another song real quick, so they would forget that I even did it. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much what you got to do. You got to experiment with it. Yeah, you got to experiment. When I wrote, it's just cool, man. I was just sitting there and I just I actually there was a Jody Oreo book that I had. It went like that. That he was teaching a lick there, like that. But I modified it a little bit. I was thinking, I said, well, that sounds pretty good, but incomplete. And then I come up with, so I went like that, and then I was like, okay, that's complete right there, because you're like, see how it completes it, like that, kind of like that. You gotta experiment with it, and you gotta think about being able to complete what you're doing. And you gotta like have good resolution. Like you come up with a good. That's the theme of the song. That So you have like a good melody, starting melody, and then you work from there, and you just like build on it and stuff like that. That's what you're looking for when you write your own music. You gotta create a main melody of that music, a main melody that kind of like just stands out in people's minds, and you repeat it, and then you put your fills in and stuff and all that. And you worry about the soloing and stuff like that. I mean, that's what a lot of rock too. You think about how rock works and stuff. Stairway to Heaven, Kansas come up with a particular lick, that worked for them and stuff. And you just got to have that melody, so people will think the melody's catchy, and then once you got the melody, then you just write out the entire song, and you just put the fills in as you think it's good to do. Well, yeah, I know it, but I can't. I'm not gonna play it on this because I'm playing clean right now. I'm playing jazz right now. But sometime I'll come on here and when I'm playing rock and I'll do it. You know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just sticks in you. That's what you're looking for when you're writing music. You're looking for a catchy something catchy in there. You know that'll, like Kansas said, that kind of thing. They had that. That was a big hit for them. You got to find like a catchy phrasing. That's what the word I'm looking for. You have to find catchy phrasing, and then you want to repeat that phrasing all throughout the song, and it just like sticks in people's mind, and they're like, "Oh, that's cool," like a catchy phrase, and it kind of like I don't know how to say it. It's kind of like becomes familiar to them, like a familiar melody. And once they get that familiar melody, they're gonna want. Then you add all the other pieces together. The other pieces are just to make it a whole. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, 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 man. Like Guns N' Roses had, you know, for "Sweet Child of Mine," they had her. They start out. It starts out that certain way, and it has to have crazy train, all that. You got to try to find a melody that is catchy that people want to hear over and over and over again. And when you're writing these songs,